Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the XTEP J Lin 5. So Jeremy Lin, kind of forgot about him, honestly, but he actually has a signature shoe, and obviously he signed to XTEP, which is a Chinese company, right? And this shoe retails for 115 bucks over at Femuji, which is an insanely good price, especially for the tech that you're getting in this shoe. It surprised the hell out of me. And just trying it on, and I also did play in it once, so this is kind of like a one-time wear test review slash first impressions of the J Lin 5. And if you guys didn't know, the J Lin 3 was the last shoe, right? And if you also didn't know, the number 4 is actually a very bad number in Asia. So that's why they skipped the 4, the J Lin 4, and went right on to the 5. So this is why this is called the J Lin 5, which is pretty interesting, right? So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave and fill link in the description box. And if you do want to cop, it does help me out if you buy it through the links in the description box. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. But yeah, I'll say it right off the bat. As far as tech goes, overall tech and what you're getting in the shoe and overall quality of the shoe, this is the best value shoe that you can get for the price right now. For 115 bucks, you're getting full length cushion, which we'll get into the cushion. You have a full length carbon fiber plate, which is absolutely insane. You have a soft mesh rubber board, and the material feels really nice, all for 115 bucks, right? So this is called the versatile colorway, and as you guys can see, this is a mismatch colorway, which is pretty cool. Here in the heel, it is a little bit different for the color, right? You can tell by these two lines, and also for the lining, it is different as well. And for the tongue, right? So on the tongue on both of the shoes, we have his logo, but they're also different colors, right? And also like the underlaying material in the toe box, it's different for the color as well. But anyways, let's get started off with the tracciones. We have a pretty basic herringbone traction pattern almost, and kind of like combines into like this waffle pattern. We got 3 circles right here in the forefoot, and also obviously one of these is a pivot circle where the ball of your foot is, and then we have a circle here in the heel, right? It kind of like circles out on itself, and then of course here in the middle of the outsole we have the carbon fiber plate, which is exposed. It looks great, right? So how does the traction feel so far? It feels really nice, right? Just on my wood floors when I first got it, it felt really nice, and when I played in it, it had an amazing bite as well, but it seemed to be picking up a little bit of dust, so we'll have to see on that. I mean, it wasn't terrible or anything, but it was to the point where I had to wipe a little bit, you know what I mean? Especially comparing to some of the other shoes I was playing, like the 808 4 Ultra, that shoe was not picking out that much dust, right? But then I switched into this, it was having really good bites, but then it's picking up a little bit of dust, and then, you know, once I wiped, it was a very easy wipe. It had really good stops again. So I'm sure, you know, top tier bite, it seems like so far, but then we'll have to see on if it breaks in and gets to perform better on a dusty setting. But right now it's still not even that bad, right? As far as durability goes, it doesn't seem like it'll be terrible, but also doesn't seem like it'll be very good, right? So it has a lot of rubber, it has a lot of surface area. So because of that, I feel like it'll be pretty good. But when I feel these grooves, the rubber feels a little bit soft, you know, it's on the softer side of things, but I guess the grooves are pretty deep as well. So I feel like it'll be pretty good on an outdoor court, right? Not terrible, not great. So overall traction feels pretty dang good. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, that also feels extremely smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a very nice curved shape, and also although the cushion is pretty caged here in the heel, especially like it's just the entire lateral side, right? We still have a good amount of compression in the heel, right? It's soft, and also this cage is pretty soft as well. It's not super stiff plastic, so here in the heel it's still pretty soft. And then coming here to the forefoot, we have a nice, look at that, you have a crazy curved shape. So just from the overall shape, you have a nice rocking motion. And then also, like I mentioned before, we have a full length carbon fiber plate, which is insane, right? So if you look through these 3 holes here in the forefoot, we can see the carbon fiber, it's exposed there, right? And we can see that it literally goes to the tip of the toe, it looks like, you know? So yeah, it has a good amount of energy storage, you know? So you can flex it, but then it does take a little bit of force, and then once you kind of flex it, has a crazy rebound back, which feels nice. It's probably gonna be very, very springy out of your first step, and also doing heel dominant strides, which feels really, really nice. So overall heel to toe transition feels great. Of course, torsion support is really good in the shoe as well. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. Also, the cushioning setup is absolutely amazing, guys, it feels like right now, right? So as you guys can see on the lateral side, like I said, it is fully caged for the cushion, but on the medial side, it is exposed, right? Not fully exposed, but it is exposed. Of course, here in the heel, it is kind of caged, especially with this thing, but they are using what they're calling XTEP Ace foam. But XTEP Ace feels really nice, right? Just to the touch, right? If you press it with your finger, there's a lot of compression. It's extremely soft. Overall court feel does feel pretty nice. I would say it's a little bit better than average. But also, like I said, we do have a good amount of compression here in the heel, right? Although it is very caged, this cage is on the softer side of things. So that has pretty nice compression. And then not only that, so first of all, the insole is just a regular insole. It's nothing crazy. It's just there, you know? But underneath that, we have a very soft mesh struggle board, which I love, you know what I mean? So all these Chinese companies are giving us soft mesh struggle boards, which I absolutely love. I feel like Nike needs to do that with every single one of their hoop shoes, or just every single one of their shoes, you know what I mean? But also something that's pretty interesting, right? So the full length carbon fiber plate is bottom loaded, right? So it's the outsole and then the plate and then the cushion, you know what I mean? Some shoes have it where it's like sandwich in between the foam or something like that. But because the carbon fiber plate is underneath the foam, your foot is literally right on top of the foam for the soft mesh struggle board, you know what I mean? Right on top of the cushion. So you can see the actual foam, of course, and then if you press it, it's extremely freaking soft. So step in comfort and underfoot cushion in the heel and the forefoot, pretty much the entire footbed is extremely, extremely nice. One thing that's kind of interesting though, is that here in the midfoot, we do have this like rectangle and there's nothing there. It seems to be a cutout with nothing there, which is kind of interesting. But other than that, yeah, it's an amazing cushioning setup. It feels responsive, but also super duper comfortable. It doesn't feel mushy at all. XTEP Ace, however, right now, it doesn't feel super bouncy. There is a nice little bounce to it though, but not super bouncy. But of course, obviously, stepping comfort underfoot cushion is something that this shoe does insanely well, right? So I really like the cushioning setup. And now moving on to the upper, also with this upper, this quality is also extremely nice. You know what I mean? We have this textile material with this really cool pattern on it. And they kind of like embroidered that on top of another textile material. You know what I mean? Like this wavy pattern. So it's really, really soft. It literally feels like a cloth. But also is extremely supportive. It doesn't stretch at all. It conforms your foot really well and feels really nice here in the toe box where your foot bends, of course. And then we do have a little bit of like a plastic material, but it's actually a really soft plastic material as well, which feels great. And also we have a little bit of that on the medial side. And then for the midfoot, it's pretty much the exact same. It doesn't feel super glued down or anything, but we do have this kind of strap like in the midfoot area a little bit, coming into the forefoot just a tiny bit on the second eyelet. So it's just like a strap and kind of goes through the eyelets, and then the laces go through the loop. So once you tighten the laces, it kind of tightens the strap around your midfoot area a little bit, which does improve the lockdown. That feels pretty nice. And then for the tongue, we have no padding. It's just literally just a material, you know what I mean? And then it's also a half pre-construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, on the sides, there's pretty much no padding. It's very, very minimal. But then in the back of the shoe, like where your Achilles is, we do have a singular Achilles pad. It's just this material where when you go up, it's a rough material, right? So that kind of like grabs your sock a little bit. And when you're going down, it feels smooth. You know what I mean? So that feels really nice for the Achilles pad in the back of the shoe. So yeah, I feel like because of that, which we'll get into in fit, it kind of pushes your foot forward, which makes this shoe run a little short. But overall, the material quality is great. It feels really nice. It's thin, it's supportive, it conforms to your foot very well. The one thing that it isn't, however, is that it's not super cozy, right? But honestly, I don't really mind that. So there is a material there. Moving on to the fit, I went up half a size and this shoe fits me extremely well. So lengthwise, my toes go pretty close to the edge of the shoe, right? And I think that is because there is a good amount of padding. It literally like cups in and it's just super duper thick right here in the back of the heel. So because of that, I feel like that kind of pushes your foot forward and makes the length a little short, right? So for me, I went up half a size, and lengthwise I'm good. So I guess, you know, if you have a really skinny foot and you want a really snug fit lengthwise, then go true to size. But for me, and I feel like most people, you should be fine going up half a size. Widthwise, it is on like normal width for me. Maybe slightly narrow, especially like at tip of the toe. But it's good for me. It's not super narrow or anything. It's not choking my foot out. And then here in the toe box, it's a pretty snug fit as well. It's not super snug, but I can curl my toes up just a tiny bit. So it's a really, really nice fit for me going up half a size. So there is a fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, look at all the lateral counters, right? I feel like they did a really, really good job. So we do have this plastic piece, right? It's caging the cushion, but also comes up with this plastic. And then there's also another kind of like thinner plastic material on top of that. So here in the forefoot and here in the midfoot, we have this really cool shape as well. You have good lateral containment with these lateral side walls, right? And then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, it feels like. So yeah, lateral containment feels really good. And also lateral stability, look at how wide the shoe is. You know what I mean? It's protruding out like crazy. So lateral stability feels really good as well. However, I did feel like here in the heel, it feels a little curved. There's a little bit of a curved shape here. I don't know why you would curve it like this, but it feels a little rounded. So it didn't feel super laterally stable here in the heel, but it felt good in the forefoot when I first played in it, right? For my first wear test. So there is a support and lockdown there. Moving on to the weight of the shoe, I'm kind of curious actually. I feel like it'll be around average weight, 12, 13 ounces, I think. Yeah, 12.05 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 11.95 ounces, so pretty much like 12 ounces, right? So that is a little bit lighter than average. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, this shoe feels really nice on foot. You know, the upper feels quality but also minimal. The cushion is comfortable but responsive and low to the ground, and the traction felt really good so far. It just picked up a little bit of dust, so it feels really nice on foot so far, right? And then moving on to the aesthetics, I like it. I feel like they did a really good job. It looks a lot better than the J Lin 2 and 3 in my personal opinion. And I also really like this colorway. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, I'm super impressed with this shoe right now, especially for the price of 115 bucks. And we'll have to see. I mean, it's crazy because like there's not a lot of shoes that you can get like full-length carbon fiber and this type of full-length cushioning setup with a soft mesh strobel board and this really nice textile material for 115 bucks. And with all this tech, most shoes would be around like at least 180 to 100 bucks. Like if you look at every other shoe that has that type of tech in it, you know? So 115 bucks is absolutely insane. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to keep playing in these, and it feels really nice so far. So yeah, my first impressions of the J Lin 5 are looking really, really good. So anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.